delight to host the presence of this elite congregation at the opening ceremony of the world's first ever pivotal school conference, a collaboration and exposition 2022. GEM's Legacy School in Dubai is beholden to host the third edition of the event to endorse the adroit accomplishments of the sustainability initiatives of the youth present here today. We will enrapture you with an unparalleled, inimitable extravagance aimed at an exemplary genesis, combating climate change and celebrating student agency.
I request you all to stand to attention as we commence with the recitation of the Holy Quran by Rimsha and Hadith by Muhammad Ismail Hussain, followed by the UAE National Anthem.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق. اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى. إن إلى ربك الرجعى. أرأيت الذي ينهى عبدا إذا صلى. أرأيت إن كان على الهدى أو أمر بالتقوى. أرأيت إن كذب وتولى. ألم يعلم بأن الله يرى. كلا لئن لم ينته لنسفعا بالناصية. ناصية كاذبة خاطية. فليدع ناديه. سندع الزبانية. كلا لا تطعه واسجد واقترب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حديث شريف. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: خيركم خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهلي. رواه الترمذي. Allah's Messenger, as saying, the best one of you is he who is best to his family, and I am the best among you to my family. Narrated by At-Tirmizi.
invited. Never before was there a more compelling era when restoring a harmed ecosystem was more vital and crucial. All life on Earth is supported by ecosystems. Understanding the gravity of climate change and the ferocity of its effects, acclimatization must also be carried out on a macro scale. We must increase the adaptability of our economy and communities to affect the climate change. This will entail substantial interdisciplinary initiatives. The students will be presented with a platform to share and debate a multitudinous array of views and notions during the cascade of events mapped out for this session.
Since its founding in 2020, SCOPE has sparked the kind of transformation that is being felt not only locally, but also globally. The purpose of this grandeur is to give an impetus to our students, accord them with platform, and endow them to voice their brilliance to advocate climate action. I now humbly request our visionary principal and CEO, GEMS Legacy School, Executive Leader of Climate Change, Ms. Alexander, GEMS Education, to come up on stage to share her perspicacious impressions about today's event.
Good morning, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome as our chief guest, Mr. Zafar Raja, Chief Operating Officer at GEMS Education and a keen supporter of sustainable practice that aligns itself with the vision of our founder and chairman, Mr. Sunny Varkey. We are honored to have you with us. Please accept a small token of our appreciation. As COP27 draws to a close, GEMS Education raises the curtains on how education and youth can help change the narrative for effective climate action. The GEMS Global Ambassadors and the School Conference of Parties exposition serves to bring school students together to discuss and debate climate action and is a springboard for young people to act in response to the urgent and dramatic challenges the planet faces. The collective activities of human beings have altered the Earth's ecosystem so that our very survival seems in danger because of changes more difficult to reverse every day. To contain global warming before it reaches catastrophic levels means addressing environmental, social, and economic issues in a holistic way. GEMS Education's programs such as SCOPE, GGA, and embedding climate literacy in schools aims to bring about the personal and societal transformation that is necessary to change course. As the executive leader of climate change and the principal of GEMS Legacy School, I understand that education is key, and a sustainability education is the only answer to a successful transition to a sustainable economy. Every school that embeds climate literacy and upskills their teachers with a true understanding of climate science will future-proof themselves and their communities, driving planet-saving change. After decades of pursuing economic growth with no thought for the planet, we now face desperate global crises on many fronts, some of which you will debate and discuss today. Governments, businesses, and individuals must all play a part to bring us back from the edge, and radical actions must be taken to cut emissions enough to avoiding the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit. While companies and governments are draped in net zero pledges, there's been very little binding action. It is too late for us to wait for governments and companies to lead the way. Every individual on Earth must understand and act with immediacy. Education is the true foundation of any cultural change, and right now, every organization needs to undergo a bigger and faster change than any we have witnessed in history if we are to collectively achieve our green ambitions. Firms that align themselves to a zero carbon business model will be rewarded handsomely, and those that fail to do so will cease to exist. Businesses with a culture centered on sustainability stand to gain a great deal. Climate-related risks and opportunities will determine who will be the winners and losers in the economy of the next 50 years. The climate crisis facing our region is staring at us in the face. Platforms such as Scope are vital for generating discussion, and now we must seize the opportunity to show the world how we can convert dialogue into meaningful action. Doing so is the only way to make sure the learning outcomes for tomorrow will help save our planet. You are the future of the world and its businesses. In your hands lie the power to change the planet and our futures. You are the leaders and ambassadors to a time that we will not see, and your willingness to anticipate and act on your own behaviors will determine the future in which we will all live. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Alexander. Your prodigious objectives are to inspire the current generation to take Homeric action and support organizations in joining forces to help reach the aim of increasing human resilience to the effects of climate change. With this thought, I lead you to a video sharing the palpable impact of Scope in 2 years now.
Our environment is under distress, and it's not a hidden fact anymore. There is a threat it is facing right now, and it is alarming, and it's our duty to save it before it gets too late.
There are so many reasons which we give ourselves as to why we cannot do something. And yet, there is so much that we can do every single day, and it all adds up. And therefore, I advocate a movement, a revolution from the ground up.
In December 2019, I was invited by COP25 to attend the conference in Madrid in Spain. I was looking forward to what I would see at the Conference of Parties. And one day as I sat listening to Al Gore, the 45th Vice President of the United States, it struck me that the people who should be there were not present. They were the children. They are the ones who are going to deal with the effects of climate change in the future. And all I saw of them was on the periphery. And there began the genesis of an idea organizing something along the lines of the Conference of Parties. We were all eager to get it underway in March 2020 when the world was overcome by the pandemic. So naturally, it took a backseat for a while as schools across the world grappled with the new pandemic and their response to education as it is. We saw an opportunity in the pandemic. Schools across the world were beginning to use the digital platform very effectively by August of 2020. And so we decided we're going to make this a virtual Conference of Parties. And then came to birth the first School Conference of Parties Expo, Scope as we called it. That opened up a lot of doors for us. because we could invite people from all over the world. So instead of just keeping it to the Middle East like was originally planned, we invited schools from across the world to be a part of the world's first School Conference of Parties Expo. We were supported in this by the United Nations Climate Change Learning Partnership, or UNCC Learn, who came forward to support and add momentum to our new venture.
We work through partnerships to try to get the message out to as many people as possible about this existential crisis of climate change, but particularly the positive role that learning and education can play in combating that. And after all, it's our children who are the ones who are going to be most affected by this crisis, and so they're really the best message carriers for their own generation and for future generations. So I just want to congratulate GEMS for the work that they've done, and Asha in particular. I hope that we can continue to collaborate in the future together, and I wish you the very best of luck.
The very first scope took place in 2020. We had young child climate activists like Leah Namugerwa from Uganda and Lisipriya Kungujam from India to inspire our students. There were a host of speakers from the United Nations, and students suddenly began to feel valued as they discussed and debated climate action.
Over the centuries, humans have exploited the Earth's resources to their advantage. Yet, we fail to remember that our Earth is one of the only planets which sustains life. To say that saving the Earth is the need of the hour would be an understatement. However, it is never too late for us to start making a change and be a part of the ripple effect that sustainable living promotes. So, let's live sustainable to live to see a better future.
My name's Michael Ross, and I'm an author and live in a cold and windy England at the moment. I'm on here to tell you what a lovely experience I had working with the children at the GEMS school. We put together a story. But what really impressed me more than anything else is not only their politeness, but how creative they were. They really are amazing children. And the end result is just superb.
Our planet is suffering, and the fact that we humans are majorly responsible for that became very evident when we saw our planet restoring itself. The pandemic must have been wrong in several ways, but not for our environment and our planet. Let us not become complacent again. Let's contribute in our little way. Let's plant a tree. Let's plant a legacy. Join me and my friends as we share our views on combating the effects of climate change.
After the huge success of Scope 2020, we started planning for Scope 2021 in a much bigger way. We wanted to have precursor events to our Scope 2021, and we wanted to plan it with the Earth Day and the World Environment Day. We called the events Build the Planet and Only One Planet. In Build the Planet, we had several sub-events, but we had one which was called Stream Around. The Stream Around was a live event wherein all the participating schools had their students work on innovative solutions to mitigate climate change. Another event that we had under Build the Planet was Environment Stained Pages, wherein students wrote poems on various climate change related issues that the world is facing and how they can be tackled. We also had another animation event called the Animate Earth, wherein students created animated videos to spread awareness on the importance of World Earth Day. This year, we looked at our possibilities of hosting the event at Expo 2020. Our Scope 2021 has a foundation of sustainability, one of the themes of Expo 2020 Dubai.
Hi, my name is Franco Atasi. I am the CEO for Siemens Smart Infrastructure in the Middle East. GEMS is a role model for promoting climate literacy, from principals to teachers to students to partners. There is full dedication to climate literacy, which will make a change. We worked together with GEMS at Dubai Expo 2020. We hosted their Scope program, where many of the students brought marvelous ideas that enable a better future for sustainability and a greener environment. I want to thank GEMS for their dedication and excellence in climate change literacy and in their sustainability efforts. and I wish him the best of luck.
What a pleasure it is to be here on such an important day. It's exciting because it marks another significant milestone in our journey to ensure that GEMS education, GEMS legacy, and all of our families receive the very best learning experiences. Our challenge, in fact every educator's challenge, is to ensure that the education we provide is truly relevant to our students' future. If we are to ensure our students' success in the fast evolving world that we live in, if we are to adequately prepare and equip them with the skills and understanding needed to face the challenges of the future, we must continuously look to evolve and adapt. And we're incredibly proud of the partnerships that we've cultivated with UNESCO and other UN agencies and industry leaders like Siemens and others to create significant and sustainable impact beyond our borders and for our students.
If all of us can work together across the world to give our young people a chance to voice their thoughts, I think Scope will have a very, very promising and bright future.
As we start our preparations for Scope 2022, we invite you to join us and be a part of this movement.
The quintessence of Scope revolves around the race to resilience. In unison together, we are accelerating the astute ambition and progress made globally in building resilience to the effects of climate change.
And now we move on to showcase the salient features of Scope. And to begin with, Scope 2022 takes the first step by hosting all participating schools in the UAE as a live event. For participating schools outside of the UAE, the event is virtually hosted in an effort to incorporate as many students from around the world as possible. Scope promises to be a collaborative setting where students of all ages may learn from one another while exchanging views, ideas as we commemorate this new hybrid style.
The voices of the youth are becoming louder with each passing year as they take an increasingly significant role in shaping global politics. This is a preeminent platform to start. And to begin with the first category, which applies for juniors, is streamability. This is the face-to-face event with 5 participants per team. The team is grouped by keeping inclusion as the foundation, with 1 student of determination, 1 gifted and/or talented, and 1 student from each of the 3 cognitive levels of learning. Identifying an issue related to SDG 10, reduced inequalities, and doing research and building a prototype with recycled materials and demonstrating problem-solving skills by collaborating and working on an original idea.
The second category, being markup, applies to the senior category, being the face-to-face event with maximum 2 participants developing an innovative product by identifying a problem connected to SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. The criteria including the marketing the product or idea, and the reason for the idea. Knowing the numbers, understanding the cost of goods, profit margin, gross sales, sales forecast, and net sales. They are selling their idea by studying the market climate.
Now moving on to category number 3, we have Scope Ed, English and Arabic, that caters to all categories. This being the face-to-face event where 1 participant identifies a problem related to an SDG as assigned to their category. Sub-junior SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. Junior SDG 10, reduced inequalities. Senior SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. They deliver a persuasive speech for 3 minutes that should be able to make an impact on the audience.
And the fourth one is sustain the diet, comprising of 3 participants per contingent per category. This being a face-to-face event for all UAE-based schools and a virtual event for schools located outside the UAE, creating a meal from scratch which would be sustainable and have a low carbon footprint, bringing out the master chef in them.
Up next, the fifth one is Design the Line, catering to the senior category. Face-to-face event with 3 participants using SDG 8, decent work and profitability growth to design clothes worn by the models depicting sustainable fashion.
Well, the next one, which is the 6th category, is scope delegation for junior and senior category. Junior, of course, SDG 10, reduced inequalities, and senior SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. 3 participants per contingent per category. This is a face-to-face event for all UAE-based schools and, of course, virtual event for those located outside UAE. Each of the 3 participants take on the following role: a common person, Minister of Economy, Climate Change, and Environment Minister. The sub-theme for both age group is climate action, and with a focus on the SDG, all the participants must defend the countries assigned to them through an opening plenary, proposal of climate action plan, rebuttals, and a free-flow debate with other countries in that pool.
And the 7th one is It All Started When. Junior and senior category with 2 participants focusing on SDG 10, reducing inequalities, and design a comic strip. The 2 participating students, being the writer and the illustrator, should bring out the humor and draw the readers to the world of imagination.
And we now take pride in inviting Mr. Zafar Raja, Chief Operating Officer, GEMS Education, to address the gathering and declare the event open.
Well, thank you very much, ladies, for that welcome. Good morning, everybody. It gives me great pride and pleasure to be here with you this morning to open the 3rd edition of the School Conference of Parties Expo Scope at GEMS Legacy School Dubai. You know, to me, this morning, we are in the presence of heroes. Now, you may not be wearing a cape or have S emblazoned on your chest, but each young person here is a hero now or a hero in the making. I believe that the ones that are going to make the real change to the future of this planet and the way the human race uses its resources are sitting here in this room and watching online. Young people have the power to change our world for the better. There is no greater human challenge than climate change, and education plays a vital role in firing up young minds to develop solutions that will change and save our planet. Barack Obama, the former president of the United States, said, "We are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change and the last generation that can do something about it." You, each and every one of you, can do something about it. Indeed, the evidence of rapid climate change all around us is compelling. The years 2016 and 2020 are tied for the warmest years on record. According to the independent analysis done by NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Earth's global average surface temperature in 2021 was the 6th warmest since records began in 1880. In fact, 8 of the top 10 warmest years on our planet occurred in the last decade. That is telling us something. The planet is telling us something. It's a message and something we need to listen to. Without increased and urgent actions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and the coming years, by the time a child who is in FS1 today has had their 11th birthday, global warming will begin to surpass 1.5 degrees each and every decade that follows. That is a statistic that we simply cannot choose to ignore. What will that mean? Well, it will mean irreversible loss of the Earth's most fragile ecosystems and crisis after crisis for the most vulnerable people and societies. Time is against us, but we are not too late. Each and every one of us, regardless of age or status, can make a difference. At GEMS Education, we believe in the power of education. We provide a quality education for every child, including an education about sustainability and climate change. For those of you who may not be aware, we are gathered today in a truly groundbreaking and trailblazing school, GEMS Legacy School, under pioneering guidance of Ms. Asha, is the world's first fully climate certified school with UNCC accredited climate change teacher in every classroom. This year, I'm delighted to say that GEMS Legacy School was nominated for the T4 Education's Best School Prize and is named in the top 10 shortlist for environmental action. Yes, absolutely. As you will have heard, but more importantly, you will see, at GLS, climate change and climate action are not just buzzwords. It's a way of life and something we can all aspire to. It's not by coincidence that Scope takes place during COP27, where global leaders are gathering to take action on achieving the world's collective climate goals. It will be interesting to see what the outcome of COP27 means and what actions will be taken. But let's not leave it on other people to take all the actions. Let's embrace those things and do some of those things ourselves. Since Scope was launched in 2020, Scope has provided a platform for young people to discuss climate change and challenge the apathy and inaction toward it. This year, we are welcoming over 150 students, more than 20 schools within the UAE and internationally, a fantastic achievement. I hope that as this event proceeds, that every student, teacher, and parent will learn from each other, inspire and challenge each other, and help us all to make better decisions for the benefit of our planet. We have a responsibility to reduce environmental footprint on the planet. While it may have been the actions of previous generations that has led us to this critical position, we can do something and find ourselves in a position to work together to find those solutions. The energy, dynamism, innovation from the youth, together with the affirmative action of the elders and world leaders, no one can afford to be ignorant or apathetic any longer. Greta Thunberg said, "When enough people come together, then change will come and we can achieve almost anything. So instead of looking for hope, start creating it." This is what Scope is all about. Students, teachers, schools, communities, inspiring each other to bring about incredible change. I thank all of you for being here and participating in this wonderful event and fantastic categories for you all to debate and discuss later on. I wish you all a great Scope. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us today. With that, we now come to the end of the opening plenary, and we wish you a day filled with learning that contributes to your growth and invigorates you on your journey towards sustainability.
After that stimulating exchange of mountainous knowledge and ideologies shared by esteemed visionaries, I'm sure we're all reinforced and invigorated to be and play a part in this noble initiative. We culminate our monumental prodigious ceremony and would like to express our gratitude to all assembled coteries. I bid you adieu today with this jest to contemplate, hoping we have galvanized a horde in perpetuity until we meet tomorrow at the GEMS World Academy for the closing plenary. Thank you and God bless.
We request our esteemed audience to remain seated as the chief guest and the guest of honor leave the premises.
We would like you to make a note of the following announcements that will guide you about the venue and the events for today. Please follow these instructions as we guide you from the auditorium to the venues that is allocated for various competitions. To begin with, all refreshments will be made available to you as you move out of the auditorium. I would request all the contingents moving to the secondary campus to move out first from the auditorium as I call out the categories respectively. I would like to call out Streamability Junior to move out first from the auditorium. The teachers, respective teachers, will guide you.